live. And Sam joined us. Wow, this is perfect timing. That was
kismet.
That was good. That was beautiful. Welcome to the weekly episode 22. We've got a lot of cool stuff this week. But first off, I want to announce our guest, starting off with the one and only Mr. Black Iron Man. Say something.
Who is on a video hangout introducing himself through interpretive dance.
Yeah, this one right here. This one, people, who's wearing the Pac-Man t-shirt. And
how's everyone doing?
There he is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You can. Next up is the one and only Mr. Oh. Sorry. I just got audio from the YouTube video. Heck out of me. Whatever.
You just freaked out yourself.
Yeah, I know. We do this again, the one and only Mr. Juan Bagnell from Somegadgetguy. How's it going, man?
West Coast represent, man. I've got my cup of coffee or bowl of coffee. And I think
you showed us that. That's massive, man. It's huge.
Look, I mean, I could be, that painting of the guy with an apple for a face. Look at that. I should just do the whole episode like this.
Yeah. And moving on to Mr. Warren Bowman, who's setting up his mic and stuff. So let's kick things off. This week, we start off with the uselessness, which has been running around on the web, Facebook.
We actually have a uselessness, guys. We remembered to write it down when it happened.
Yes, and this one involves them tracking down your information and spying on you with your Samsung device, your Samsung battery. So if you haven't seen this, please watch so you can laugh. Some guy, I watched without audio, which of course Juan will tell us about that in a second. But some guy basically was showcasing the fact that if you peel off the battery, I believe you used the Galaxy S3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was either the S3 or the S4. I can't remember when Samsung started building in NFC.
One person used it from the S4, and then another person used it from the Note 4.
So he peeled off the battery and revealed this chip that he said was spying on you and would download all your information and send it on the web. Even though it's, thank you very much, Juan, for showcasing that. That's it right there. So that mysterious, secret, covert NSA chip is going to take all your information. It's NFC, people. NFC.
Yeah, I mean, so when you look at this, first of all, if you don't know what you're looking at, and I don't know, can you see my mouse cursor?
Yeah.
So, these little stripes, these little bands, these look a little like RFID, and so you can use RFID as a tracker, but this is the NFC antenna. There isn't even really a chip here. This isn't a piece of hardware. I mean, it's kind of an inert radio antenna, which then connects to the battery, which then the phone can utilize for things like tap and share, tap and pay if you're using, a Google Wallet, for example. And so, this is one of those great internet urban myth things. You find something that you don't understand, so the best course of action is to rip it out because your battery still works after you rip it off. It can't have any good consumer use if the battery will still work after you rip out this microchip, and it kind of propagates. It spreads like wildfire through absolute tech ignorance, and that's why people like us have to exist to make sure you guys don't do things like that.
So what was the commentary in the video itself?
Well, and then also I think it just showcased an ugly side. I mean, being paranoid is already kind of an unflattering look, but, throughout the video, he's making little digs and comments about this is how they get all of your photos. This is how they get all your photos. The Jews. And really? Your target here on a South Korean phone is the Jews. So already, I mean, like, paranoia is an unflattering look, but don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. Because paranoid and racist is a really ugly look.
And getting it wrong, too, at the same time.
So in other words, you guys are saying I shouldn't have wrapped this right now. There's no spying on me?
I mean, If you want,
you can.
Yeah, I mean,
we're gonna mock the shit out of you for it.
Because I don't want the spies. I don't want the spies looking at me.
No, remember,
It
it's Korean Jews. I would guess at this point.
Okay.
Oh God, I can't.
Neither Korean nor am I a Jew. Okay.
It's just so frustrating when you kind of encounter an institutional racist situation in the year 2015, and especially when it just manifests itself in a completely inappropriate arena where not that there is an appropriate arena for racism, but where he's just so far off the mark on what the technology is, and then he's so far off the mark on who he should blame.
2 strikes.
I don't think he should get a 3rd strike. I think he's out. I think we just move on to the next batter.
He's been out for a long time. In all seriousness, that is one of the most dangerous things to do, is to unwrap your battery.
Yeah.
Oh, messing with a battery? Definitely, man.
Yeah. It's just you're asking for either to explode, overheat, possibly burn you, and some even more unflattering things. So please, just do not mess with your phone's battery. If you don't want NFC turned on, just turn off the NFC button. You really, these days, the only thing that really utilizes it much is NFC to turn on, maybe connect a Bluetooth device. Literally just turns on Bluetooth. Or if you're going to use a mobile payment system. And I mean, we're just in the infancy of that. And you could there's always every phone, I think, has a shortcut on the home screen somewhere in your app drawer or in your quick settings where you can turn NFC on and off with just a click of a button. It doesn't take long to turn it on.
And for even your specific model of phone, it doesn't take much to Google a YouTube video on how to disable NFC or how to activate NFC, and the settings are going to be right there. How did you phrased it really funny, Warren. I'm concerned about privacy. Better go post on Facebook.
I'm concerned about privacy, but I'm gonna post and share on Facebook because I need for everyone to know how concerned I am about this. So I'll use a social network that I upload photos and videos to that resell those if you don't opt out of it, and will make my video go viral, which they'll create ads to resell on and link me back to those to tell everybody that. There's little demons in my batteries.
Very, very logical.
Oh, Jesus. That's not the only video. I saw someone else do the same thing, too. You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
Well, and I mean, that's also one other thing to reiterate, too, the messing with the battery. Because I think we've also seen those gadget destruction videos gone awry.
Yeah.
Or someone will what was the one that some kid smacked his a Galaxy S4 with a hammer or something like that, and he managed to pierce the back battery casing, and the whole thing just started erupting.
I haven't seen that one.
And you're like,
I haven't seen that one.
First of all, just don't engage in gadget destruction porn because they're tacky videos, but it was hysterical that this is exactly why you don't do stupid things. These gadgets are not designed to handle intentional destruction. They're lifestyle gadgets, and they're pretty durable, but not when you go out of your way to try and break them.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Anyway, moving on from stupidity, let us go to some news this week. So Taylor Swift was on a campaign, basically bad-mouthing Apple, talking about how the fact that Apple Pay, which will start up the 30th, I believe.
Apple Music, you mean?
Sorry, thank you. Apple Music, sorry, I apologize, which the 3-month trial period will start up on the 30th of this month of June. And Apple came out and said, we're not going to be paying anybody for all the music you're going to be listening to. And Taylor Swift was like, are you serious? Really? Yeah. You're just going to stream music for 3 months? And she went on a little campaign, and Apple, turned around and said, oh, we'll pay. So just general thoughts on, Apple's wish-washer, and why the fact that this is the second part of the question, why mainstream media hasn't attacked Apple on this. They've labeled this more as a Taylor Swift win rather than an Apple, being this disgusting company. Because any other company, any other company.
You really feel there.
No. I'm just saying, any other if this was Samsung or any other big company, if it was Microsoft,
if this were Microsoft, we'd be hearing a lot of commentary about
how they're an evil company and
so
in their directions, and how Apple is so much better.
Let's be fair. Let's be fair though to Apple, right? What Apple was saying, what she's arguing against is Apple said it would give you a 3-month free trial. And during that 3-month free trial, they were not going to pay artists for the music that you got for free.
It doesn't matter, though.
No, I understand.
No,
It doesn't
let
matter.
him explain the situation, though.
Yeah, no, yeah. It doesn't. One way or the other, artists are getting basically screwed out of their money. Obviously. Yeah. But Apple was coming from a point where we're not making money off of this for those 3 months, so we're not going to be making anyone else money off of it. So that's where Apple's coming from. So I think we should at least start from that. From that point.
I think that was understood, but the problem with that is it's Apple. They're a big company, and everybody knows they have cash, so you can't get away with doing things like that. If this was a smaller company, then maybe sure they might be able to get away with something like that. First, like, you don't need 3 months of free service on this for streaming. Like, literally, maybe a month at tops. But I think after about a couple of weeks, people can probably figure out if they're going to use the service or not and continue to want to pay for it. You don't need that long to be able to do those type of things. And I understand Taylor Swift came out and said her little argument. She's been arguing against streaming services. I will still call her a shill for the industry because she is. Because the problem is she's screaming the artists should be mad at the streaming services that distribute the content because they're the ones that are not paying us. Your fucking record companies are the ones that make the deals. Why aren't you yelling at them?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, going after distribution on this is definitely...
You are a shill, Swift. No matter what you say, you are saying and speaking on behalf of the record labels. And mind you, you're paid out the ass, and you've never had to worry about actually being a starving artist because you've been paid and your family's been in the industry for how long now? So, no. And it's been proven that you can make it without record labels. And I don't even like the artist that much, but Macklemore is a great example of how you can do this without needing to have this giant amount of money behind you, or giant label behind you. Another great proven of this is Cash Money Records, that all they got from Universal was a distribution deal, and all they did was flip their drug money, because it was drug money. It was. Their A&R basically said that I took their drug money and flipped it into legit money. And that's all they did. And they made
you know what that's called? That's called money laundering.
Oh, yeah, that's what they
I'm pretty sure no one admitted to money laundering.
Oh, no, not now. Oh, no, not at the time. But, hey, 20 years later and $1 billion in their bank, what are you going to say then?
We laundered money. What could we do?
No, but I think I mean, this is one, because I don't disagree with Warren's commentary there, but I do think, you know, this is one of the few times that this is probably the only time I'm ever going to agree with Taylor Swift.
No, she was right. She was absolutely right what she said.
But it's I really don't understand Apple's position on this, where they had to know, people at Apple had to know that their service was going to be viewed as another market disrupting move away from individual track and album sales. I think we're in a market right now where more and more people are starting to consume their music via these streaming services rather than paying 99 cents a song. So to use artists' content and not pay them for a service that will ultimately wreck their sales further, while they're sitting on over what, $140 billion war chest?
More than that.
But I mean, like an obscene amount of money, which they're probably just gonna do stock dividends on, that they're not actually using for product development or obviously promotion for their new services, is a bad PR move. It makes them look like a bully. It makes them look like, you know, they're stealing from people, which in a way that they are. And it defies the conventional logic. Like, if you run a restaurant and you want to give away free samples of your food, you still have to pay your distributors for the product and the ingredients that you get to make your food. So, you know, Apple's move on this was incomprehensible. It was like a fail on every chain of Apple's relationships with artists was pretty good back in the early iTunes days. Apple's relationship with consumers was really good, and they're rolling out new services, and this is a PR fail on almost every step of their chain.
This is like Microsoft's little PR team. This is a move. It would be. And I know I never say this, but this is honestly...
It's true. That's why I'm laughing.
This is a move that Steve Jobs would not have done. Literally, he would not have said anything. There wouldn't have been a free trial with him.
No.
It wouldn't have been.
There would have been 2 weeks max.
You don't need to have a free trial. It's the best service. You're going to want it.
I mean, and I think also the thing is that most consumers know that any streaming service, or even things like that nowadays, when you do free trial, it's 30 days.
Yeah.
It's 30 days is almost an industry standard. Like that's a thing. So coming in and saying 3 months sounds very elusive to attract people over, and especially steal that Spotify crowd. And then when it comes to like that, you're basically shafting these people for 3 months, and especially if you're an artist who drops your album during that 3-month period. I mean, and say you get a lot of streams from Apple, you're not making jack.
Well, I think what the result would have been, we wouldn't have any new music for 3 months. Nobody would have dropped. Yeah, nobody. And maybe except for maybe a really large artist that can afford to do that, so they can promote their tour.
Right.
Outside of that, no one would have dropped.
Frustrating is the really large artists would probably make a deal in the background that was different than what everyone else was doing. I mean, I look at like Apple again. Apple is making some strange missteps, like the whole U2 album debacle.
Yeah, the free album, the free album
wanted. Yeah.
Right. Again, that is another move where in a boardroom full of executives, it kind of makes sense. Well, we're doing something, it's a value add for our consumers, people are going to love this. But it doesn't take much logic, it doesn't take much reasoning outside of that to say, hey, you know what, someone might find this invasive. Someone might not appreciate
But
this.
remember, Samsung did the same thing with Jay-Z, except you had to go download the album.
No, that's what I mean.
It's just a very simple thing, right?
There are really easy ways to do goodwill. We're gonna do this ticket, and you can get this promo code, and you can go and download the album. The fact that when you update your phone, we have put a YouTube album on there because you should like YouTube. It doesn't make any sense, especially on phones with fixed storage. So like every megabyte counts when you can't upgrade storage.
Sam, can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
All right, so he's
down. We'll come back to that point, Sam.
No, but I mean, I definitely agree with you. It's one of those things, like you said, Apple has been making some very interesting missteps in whether the announcements or PR that, like I said, going to the second part of the question, which was, the media didn't, especially tech media, kind of went, look, Taylor Swift won a big one for the little guy. Not, and which is
which is a good story to write.
Yeah, exactly, which is nice, but also you have to understand that it's also another side of the story that Apple, like you said, Warren and Juan, who has this huge, humongous war chest, is just being greedy.
Yeah.
Simply greedy.
If any other company had made this mistake, they would have been so vilified. You'd have had every one of these tech sites writing in-depth editorials of how evil each one of these companies are and all this other negative stuff on it, but because they're all shills for Apple, I'm calling them all out. You all are shills for Apple. And primarily the reason is the majority of you are not real consumer electronics viewers. You just review some Apple products and you figure you know something about tech and you don't know jack, to be honest with you. But it's those folks that are on those sites that write these things because they can't write against Apple, because if they do that, it literally goes against their belief system, and they're not going to go against that.
I'll also go one more. I definitely agree that there's like a dogmatic situation happening. There are a group of people that are like they follow Apple like a religion, right? We talk about that cultish attitude. I think there's a much larger chunk of people. Just like when in a real religion, you've got like your 20% who are like crazy, and then you've got like a much larger percentage of moderates. I think in the Apple circles, you have a much larger percentage of moderates who are actually afraid of Apple. If you say anything critical about them, you're off the reservation. I mean, remember when BendGate came out, and Germany's largest Apple blog, it was an Apple-centric video and blog review team covered BendGate. They publicly talked about how Apple sent them letters about how they would no longer be receiving review devices and how they were off the reservation and they were cut off. So I think if you're a smaller player, you don't talk ill of Apple. If your audience is built on covering Apple, everything has got to be rosy and good and clean. Because Apple will cut you off at the knees if they suspect that you're engaging in any kind of critical response to their policy.
Speaking of that, there was another, I forgot who the author was, but it was an article on Medium that spoke of the same thing about how he was at an Apple event and how basically the same controlling everything, and like if you say anything bad, we kick you off the reservation. You're done. We're not going to send you things anymore. If you decide to be critical against them, and that brings up a sort of another maybe side topic we actually talked about. Got it mentioned during my when I was at the CE week when I was doing America's Got Geeked. One of the things that got mentioned, one of the guys said, if you don't have your integrity, you're not honest with reviewers, it's like you're done. You owe nothing to the company. You should be as honest and as truthful as possible. And unfortunately for Apple, they don't want that. They don't want to play that game. Everyone else doesn't mind playing the game. They don't want to play that game. And slowly but surely, I think that's getting exposed, and people are getting smart about that.
Yeah.
Sam?
I think it's really a holdover from Apple's initial bout into the whole RIAA world when they first had those battles back and started in 2003 and going forward. So I think they just got used to the fact that when it comes to music, they tend to set the trend, right? And they haven't realized now that there's so many other streaming services out there that they're actually literally fighting from behind. And they need to be innovative, they need to change, and they need to figure out better ways of doing what they've always done, which is provide people with music in a very curated and easily consumable way. But right now, they're dropping the ball. Like you mentioned, the YouTube debacle, the whole idea with basically for giving people a 3-month trial subscription. Yay! Not paying the artists. Come on, that's kind of silly. This is coming from the company who was literally, in order to get music out to the people for iTunes, they were literally making nothing almost for the first year off of iTunes, off of downloading music on iTunes.
They were giving away free caps. Remember, you go buy a soda, you get a free iTunes download code. I remember that.
Yeah.
So they've gotten so used to being that mega giant in the online music world, but they haven't figured out how to be a player in the streaming world. And this is not how you become a player in the streaming world, by basically diminishing the value of the people who are supplying you with the music. That's not how you become a player.
Yeah,
so they had an opportunity here to actually, change the game and basically say, hey, we're Apple. We want to promote musicians, so let's do something innovative. Let's pay the artists more to come directly to us and stream their music.
And going along with Warren's point, we have a comment here from Creslin Williams. This topic is in my wheelhouse. I do understand where Taylor is coming from, but have you seen her concert ticket prices? And her performance fees are ridiculous, so I found it very hypocritical of her. I don't see her offering $10 shows for the love of music and allowing all fans the chance to see her perform. And with her switching genre from country to pop was all about money. Apple sold out their customers, so who cares if 1989 is on the new service?
Well, the thing with me is this, right? I don't care if someone goes.
He's a shill.
But the truth of the matter is, I don't care if, if I go on some unmentioned review site that is totally, despicable and disreputable, right? But they come up with an idea and they push an agenda that actually benefits everyone, everyone as a whole. So yes, she's a shill. You can call her a shill. That's cool, but at the end of the day, she is making a point that this big company that has all this mountain of money it sleeps on,
it was a good time.
Is trying to screw the little guy.
It was right place, right time, so she got her first win, but she needed one because she took a huge knockout against Spotify. So I'm taking my album off Spotify, and went. Kanye shrugged and went about their business. They did.
Well,
really?
And I don't know that I can blame, as talking the business side of it, because as a consumer, I think we're always kind of looking for what's equitable and what's fair and what's the best deal and how we can save money and things like that. But from the business side of it, I can't blame her because she's one of the few artists that can actually still sell platinum. Her albums still sell.
She did switch, and that was the big thing that I think got her to sell a lot more. She went
totally. But again, it's if that's if you can make that move and you can make that play and you can make that money, it's the capitalist in me is going well played, because the music industry is kind of proper wrecked right now. So if you're one of the few artists who can sell enough albums to go platinum plus, why not? If your team of people think that over the course of this album you're going to make more money pulling your album off of Spotify and that your fans will actually follow that play, go for it. It's not about what's best for the fans, obviously. And her shelf life as an artist might not be as long-lived as other musicians. So if the fear is, she might burn out once she gets into her 30s, make the money now.
Yeah, that won't make the money for the label now.
Well, and I think I'm speaking specifically of the team of people that are also managing Taylor.
Yeah.
You know, like I whether or not she might be sustainable, whether or not she becomes an amazing producer or a songwriter, or she starts working in the background, whatever might happen with her career. If I'm Taylor's rep, I'm saying like, hey, you can make X number of dollars if you stay on Spotify. You make X number of dollars. You can make Y number of dollars if you pull your album, and Y is bigger than X. Go with Y.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on. The next topic is actually supposed to be Microsoft, but I'm going to hold on that for a second because there's another interesting topic I wanted to bring up. This has to do with one company called Bungie and the Taken King. So, Bungie announced the Taken King, which is the expansion pack for, the DLC for, what's that game called again?
Destiny. Expansion, correct. Expansion.
Destiny, right? First
Wrath
of all,
of the Lich King?
no. First of all, the Taken King costs twice as much as any other DLC. And
$40?
$40, yes.
I guess that.
$40. Then there's also a Taken King DLC Collector's Edition, which has things that you cannot get in the game in any form or fashion except you buy that. So if you have bought the game already at $60 and you want to get everything, that's $80. Forget that $40 pack. Or if you're buying the game fresh now, it's just $60 for anyone who's buying the game now. So fans, of course, are being irate because even with things like Call of Duty, right? Call of Duty they tell you we have 4 expansions coming, this is the price. You can buy everything now and be done with, right? Simple.
Yeah,
that's what most
like
games
do. Season pass or something.
Yeah, season pass, yeah. That's what most games do. And then also, Destiny announced that they have another quest coming up, which you can go ahead and go buy Red Bull, drink it, use the code, and play the quest, or else you have to wait till January 2016 to play this. Seriously, what the hell? I hate the game, but I mean, are you nuts?
This is an Activision move. This is an Activision move.
See, I would have called it an Activision move, except they don't even do this for their main franchise.
Well, and Bungie's been super vocal about Activision not really being hands-on any of their business decisions on this one.
This to me, I mean, that's why I'm looking at it going, if Activision wanted to do this, they would have dropped this on Call of Duty a long time ago.
I think it's probably Activision experimenting with something. But the truth of the matter is, this game has been just flooded with missteps from the get-go.
Microsoft just laughing in the background. Oh, that's cute.
Well, and every time they start building up a little momentum, it's like they want to throw a bucket of ice water on what they're doing. I don't understand letting the people speak for Bungie because I mean the moves are not good enough that they're already drawing negative attention. But when I forget who it was, but one of the Bungie team members publicly talking about, and once you see the new emotes, you'll be throwing money at your screen. That's such a tacky, class.
Did he really say that?
Yeah, he literally said that.
He did.
You mean a shortcut to him dancing around type thing?
I think it was design director or art director or something like that.
But you don't let him speak for the company. Yeah. Why are you letting him speak for the company? That's not.
That means they do not have a marketing director in there. That's controlled.
Painfully obvious.
that doesn't have a public relations specialist that says, everyone shut the fuck up, only this person talks.
And so basically I think the only way out of this is you run damage control, you shit can that guy publicly, you make a big play out of, we're doing this, and then you experiment with some of the pricing moving forward so that people will quickly forget about this. But this has been very mishandled. Again, I think the entire theme for our broadcast this week is watch companies mishandle products.
Okay, so oh god, I hate being the defenders of this company, but let's see, but what Bungie has done after the fact is Bungie went in there and Bungie basically said, okay, we understand, because the big issue here is there are people who actually bought this game. People who bought this game and have been with Bungie through thick and thin, the crappy release, the crappy story, and they're now finally getting into the game for real. These people who are now level 30, they play through the whole game, they keep playing. Now they're saying there's no upgrade path for them to finally get these new emotes, these new color schemes, these new items that are going to be coming to the game. So what Bungie has done is said, okay, because you are our legacy fans, because you've been with us from the start, we're going to announce something special for you sometime down the line. So they're saying yes, they're basically acknowledging that they are going to take care of people who've actually played with them from the get-go.
It's a little too late. Let me be the other devil's advocate here. Okay, Destiny sucks. They messed up.
They did.
Literally messed
no question, man.
Because I put it from my perspective. I don't play games like that. I don't like games like that. I was interested. I picked it up. I got to like level 12, 13. And I was like, garbage. Threw it away. That's it. Done. Because no story. I mean, I play a game like that for the story, not because I played well. Because I actually want to see what the story is. It was terrible. And then when you decide to try and fix things, you want to charge people like exuberant amount of money for your failure. That's what you're doing. You're charging me for your failure.
Here's the best part of looking at this game is that I look at Destiny and I'm just like, I know what it is, but if I'm looking at this from the outside consumer first looking in, what the hell is this game about?
Yeah, no, it's
like why would I buy this? Look at it. There's nothing that I can look at the Halo game.
Wait. Let's let Sam raise his defense first.
No, I'm just saying.
None. All right, move on.
I don't know why. I don't even know why I'm defending this game.
That was dirty.
But
dirty.
But
I'm looking at the game and I'm like, I can look at Call of Duty. I know what I'm getting in the Call of Duty game if I never bought it before, I never played it before. I can look at Halo and I can see a helmet and a gun or something, and I was like, Master Chief is doing something or shooting. Like, okay, I know what this kind of is. I look at this Destiny game, it's like, what's going on?
So here's the danger, because I don't think you're wrong, and I think again a part of this needs to be branding and communication with customers. That's another thing that we've been very critical on a lot of companies in the past, but it's also, you know, like we run into that really dangerous territory of what does a game company do to take a risk? Because I don't want just another Call of Duty game. I don't want just another Halo game. I don't want just another Gears of War game. I want some new IP occasionally to find its way into popular culture and popular gaming culture. But how do we do that so that we can address what you're talking about, Warren, where we actually know WTF this game is about, and that we can build a new community around that game without ostracizing gamers?
I think you can still do what this is doing now, but you go off the beaten path, but there are certain beaten paths to publicly promote games that you can follow still. And they did not bother. They went off the path, but they didn't bother to go look down and say, this is how you promote a game, this is how you advertise the game, this is how you present the game to people. They didn't do any of that.
Well, going back to the initial point of new IP, it's very simple. Make a good game first. Just do that. I mean, if you make a good game, people will come out and advertise the game for you.
True.
Just make something good. Don't give us a half-ass product and then expect me to come. See, because like I said, my own thing is you release something that's not good, and then to fix it, you're now telling me to pay double or even triple the amount just to play a fixed good version of your game.
Well, and then also, I mean, I think we're running into the difference in cultures on, because I am not an MMORPG player.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. So the culture behind a game like WoW is that the game is constantly evolving. It's not the game is done and it's fixed and it's good. No, you're constantly buying expansion packs. You're constantly paying a subscription fee for, you know, how you interact with that game. That's how the game works. That's how an MMORPG works. I'm just not that interested in that quality of online play, you know. So trying to make Destiny the WoW of consoles and not charging a monthly subscription fee just to jump on Destiny means that the expansion packs are going to be priced even more expensively.
No. I mean, it's true, but I mean, I'm sure Sam can attest to it because he's a WoW player. Is that at least with each expansion pack that the way WoW does it, and from how I understand, it's almost like you're getting the expansion pack feels like a part 2 of the game or part 3. Because it's so big.
I know, but it's also because it's built on the funding of all of the players who are paying monthly.
Yeah, but
so
also
the expansion pack also doesn't need to be priced as expensively, and you can put more content in because you know you're going to be bumping up your subscription rates every time a new expansion pack comes.
No, I mean true, but still, WoW initially was a good game. That to me, it still boils down to that. The initial experience is not good enough to warrant your price.
So this is the thing
it's
Destiny.
not like you made the game of the year that everybody says, Jesus Christ, you need to play this, and then you charge $100 for it. Fine, I'll call it expensive.
No, I know. I mean, but
don't worry, Sony will sell a Game of the Year edition in no time.
I'm not defending this outlook, but I mean, this play by Bungie, I think this is a bad move, and I think they've also handled their PR very poorly. But when you play WoW, how much is a WoW monthly subscription?
It depends. If you're doing a full year, it could be anything from between $15 to as little as like $9.99 a month.
So let's play it low. $9.99 a month. How much is an expansion for WoW?
I think the last expansion I bought was close to like $30.
So $30 plus. How long will you likely play that expansion? Like 3 months, 4 months? 5 months?
No, you're playing that.
Months out of gameplay for that.
This is the thing about the expansion, right? The expansions in World of Warcraft is kind of unique when it comes to MMO, and this is why it's really unique. The fact that I've played vanilla WoW, and then I got a bunch of all the expansions after that, right? Now I'm playing Warlords of Draenor, but now I can go all the way to level 100. Guess what? I can now go back to all that content I didn't quite clear when I was level 40 and play through that again. And guess what WoW does? It kind of changes the difficulty of it so I can actually enjoy the content without just going through and just ganking the whole thing. It makes it interesting. What these guys have done is they haven't really created a whole new world, a whole new experience. And each of these expansions that you add from World of Warcraft is basically porting you over to another continent, what's in essence a whole nother starting area in a whole nother world. What these guys have done is essentially added a quarter of giving you a quarter of the original of the quests available on the original game. So you're only getting a quarter more content. They've charged you for a full game. They have created a special edition for an expansion that charges you double what the game costs or what the expansion costs. They have now given you a way to not just basically pay to play, but actually pay to win, because what the Red Bull promotion does is buy Red Bull, get XP. So instead of Red Bull gives you wings, Red Bull gives you XP. So you can basically level up by buying Red Bull. It's just they've taken the whole concept. The thing is that they don't have a real economy in your game. When you have a real economy in your game, like something WoW, you have to be very careful about what you put into that economy, how you siphon value into it and out of it. What they've done is basically decided we don't really have an economy per se, so we can do whatever the hell we want, and we can basically charge people to play. To pay to win, and that's exactly what I think they're doing right now. They're giving people things, especially this is what really bothers me about the Red Bull stuff. You're giving people an access to pay for XP, to pay to level up. And to me, that's not cool, because you have to play through contents to level up. So there's two totally different worlds when it comes to WoW and what these guys are trying to do with Destiny. And Destiny is, to me right now, a very failed experiment.
All right, so now that we have the final world on a very failed experiment, let's move over to Microsoft's new experiment.
I don't know what the hell's going on in this damn thing.
What is this Destiny thing you speak of?
No, but then I want to go.
I'm perplexed.
Then I wanted to go like, let me order the game. Wait a minute, it's Destiny expansion 1, expansion 2, then the Taken King, but the damn thing says the Taken King on us. I'm getting 4 games and 1 for $60. But what?
You know what? Just to sum up, I think what Destiny was trying to do was trying to be Mass Effect with a mixture of WoW in there, and I don't think they were able to achieve that. I think that was the problem with Destiny. But anyway, moving on to Microsoft. So Microsoft CEO sent out a memo, which of course has been distributed online, talking about new focus in the company. And he talked about magical choices and very little in terms of hardware, but more in terms of devices, spreading Microsoft software. I just wanted to get your take on Microsoft's new mission drive, because it looks like, at least quickly from my own perspective, is Windows Phone is going to get another cut and be just a budget smartphone arena for them, and maybe one reference design every year, and then focus more on all the other Microsoft businesses that do well for them. So I'll start off with you, Warren.
Why me?
Okay, fine. I'll start with somebody else.
I'll go.
I always start off first. Start off with Sam.
No,
Okay,
I'll
want
jump
to
in
go.
just real quick because if you go back to our shows a year ago or even some of the little proto podcasts that we did earlier than that, we have been talking about the move that putting Nadella as the CEO for a while now. That Microsoft is approaching a one operating system per person distributed computing environment, and putting a server guy at the head of that means you focus on services. He's a services guy. Services should follow you anywhere you go. It shouldn't matter what glowing rectangle you pick up. Your services should be there. And that's what we're seeing, and I think we're seeing an excellent execution. I mean, like, I'm playing with the new Office apps on Android phones now that they're finally like open for everyone. They're just not part of that beta, and they're really good. They're really good. What little I still used Google Docs for is now gone. Like, I have no incentive to go back to Google Docs, especially what with the different professional avenues that I need to kind of satisfy. Like, if someone sends me an Excel spreadsheet, well, I gotta use Office. But now I can use it on an Android phone, and it works really well.
I remember I used Office Mobile when they released that. That was the end of that. Me using anything on Google Docs. So now seeing that these apps are out here,
And I mean, we saw it first with the integration on OneDrive across all platforms, and it worked really well. So this to me is an exciting move because I think Microsoft is better understanding where they can be competitive. I agree. I think we'll probably still see Microsoft putting out Windows phones as reference designs. I don't think the Windows Phone operating system goes away, but we're also looking at the Windows desktop operating system becoming a service itself, unless a piece of software you buy to install on machines. It'll eventually become so fluid that you just exist in a Microsoft ecosystem that can kind of float behind you no matter where you go. And the dream will be, it doesn't matter what you pick up, your programs, your services, your files will all just follow you to that device. You can throw it to a TV, you can throw it to the heads-up display in your car, you can throw it to your face computer, your VR solution, or your AR solution. So that I mean, we've been talking about that for a while now. This is the realization of that move in putting a server and infrastructure guy at the head of the company.
Mm-hmm. Sam?
I'm a little curious to what he's saying. These hard decisions, or tough decisions you have to make in areas where things aren't quite working out. I'm just curious to see exactly what he's talking about there, what department he's talking about, because there's been a marked improvement in a lot of the major, in a lot of the major deliveries, right? Well, obviously Windows is doing great. Obviously Surface is doing a lot better with the Surface 3 Pro and now Surface 3. Obviously, Microsoft is hoping to build on its mobile platform. So is it saying it's going to cut Windows Mobile for Windows 10, or how's that going to work out? And now, okay, Xbox, which is the big elephant in the room, right? There's always been a rumor that Microsoft was going to let go of Xbox, but we now have, I forgot what his name, Phil something, running the Xbox. Yeah. And it looks as though, even though Xbox is not winning the next-gen wars, it's there. It's a presence. So it's not like it's lost a bunch of customers. So it's like, where are you going to make these tough decisions? Where can he afford to make tough decisions where he doesn't piss off a whole bunch of consumers?
I think the first place would most likely would be Windows Phone, from Windows 10 Mobile, whatever the correct name is. Basically, just because they might keep just a smaller focus and say, look, we're doing very well on the budget side of things. We pretty much have that market in a lot of countries, so let's do that. Let's have one top tier phone every year, and that's it. But it's mostly variations of a 540 or a 240, whatever the number scheme they want to go with there. That might be where they do a lot of concentration down. I think trimming down Surface they should not try that at all, because you've created a new market environment that has spawned Lenovo and the rest of them, and also you can see even with HP now with the new X360 or X2 whichever the name is, that has gone on rave reviews, and even Dell too. So you want to keep that market going. I think it's mobile side. I think you might see something on some of the other services. Yeah, I'm not sure where specifically. I hope not Xbox, because it would just be bad taste for them to do that in my mind. I think he can probably think he can take it off, but I think if you want to eventually win the hearts and minds of every, consumer, like Juan said, you want to be able to have that ability to go across every single device. So having that foothold, and again, you're number two in a market where the number three is pretty much like dangling on a string. Number one just only had a boost because of your mistake. So basically means you still can lead that market. You just can't win in Japan because you only sold 100 consoles last month.
I just hope that what we're talking, I mean, especially if we're talking about Windows Phone, that what they're doing is that they're finally just getting their expectations in check.
Yeah.
Because these companies exist thinking like, well, we'll put out a phone and we'll sell millions of them. We see this narrative happen time and time again, and then we hear about the quarterlies where, well, we had to readjust our expectations. You're like, well, no shit, your expectations were off the map.
Yeah.
So, I think if Microsoft can continue making the plays that they are with the entry-level devices, especially in emerging markets where a phone might be someone's only computing device, and then you look at a feature like Continuum, where that phone can then start to replicate some of the functionality of a proper desktop,
Yeah.
then you still need to have a solution for people who want a high-end phone, because you might convince a few consumers to move over when they have more money to upgrade, or they're looking at an alternative to what they might be working on. If they're already using a bunch of Microsoft services, not surfaces, that you can kind of make that play. But I think a lot of that has to do with, are you also being reasonable internally at that company with what you will actually sell? You can't make this play thinking, oh, well, we're going to put the 940, and now that Windows 10 is out, we're going to sell 10 million in the first week. You can't do that. You have to be reasonable with what the market will actually bear. But if you don't have a Lumia 940, look at how much the discussion on Windows Phone has sort of chilled by not having a new flagship device out. I mean, we are primed for yearly updates, and we've gone longer than a
2 years
year without any kind of news on what's coming down the pipe, or not just no announcements. We've gone longer than a year on any kind of actual news.
I think the last flagship we got them was an Icon AK 930.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything, and it's been a year now since we've heard anything.
And the 1520 is a little
2
too
years
old to continue holding the mantle up on why a high-end Windows phone makes sense. So again, I mean, I'm very excited to see entry-level devices. I'm playing with the Alcatel. I'll be wrapping that up. I've got the LG Stylo. I mean, there are a bunch of really cool devices you can pick up at around that $200 price point now. And I don't think a variation on 530, 535, 540, 630, 635, 640, another 700 series really makes sense in a market where we also have problems with 2-year-old phones being able to compete against new entry-level phones. Just like last year, I was really cranky about mid-range devices. Like, why would you buy a $400 phone when you can buy last year's flagship phone? This is where Microsoft really does need to get back on the ball, because I think that's what'll kill their ecosystem if they have any momentum built up in phones. You still need that reference model. You need your Nexus. You need something so that people will still continue talking about the operating system, even if that's not the phone they buy. You put a Cadillac in a showroom and someone walks in, they think that's cool, they're still going to buy a Chevy.
True.
I really am appreciative that what Juan just said. It said you still need your Nexus. How long have I been preaching this? For so long that they have needed. Sam, that's why Sam's smiling, because he knows I've been preaching it. And Abon's up there about to get another I told you so from me on this. I've been saying this for at least 3 years, that they need to have their Nexus-based devices. That's what they need to do. They don't need to make a million of them. They need to have the reference of one and the other. The Surface is a great reference. This is what we imagine the hybrid device to be. So go and make this. The Yoga comes out. The 360, whatever the name of the HP comes out. Dell still comes up with a great, it's not a flip one, but they do come up with an Infinity Display based one that comes out that they have now. So they still say this is what we expect for high-end specs and things of that nature. This is what we want the perfect Windows machine to be like. They need to do the same thing with phones, and I've said it forever. They need to have a Surface phone, and that's what it needs to be. It needs to be under the Surface branding, and it needs to be a phone with running Windows 10, has a great Nokia camera. They should drop the Nokia and Lumia name. Just be like, Lumia should be the low-end brand that it's always going to be. Matches right along with how America has always been with Nokia, which has been low and entry level. So just leave it at that.
And then have a Surface.
Have a Surface phone, high-end with a great camera.
Surface phone. Well.
No, literally, call it the Surface phone. And think about how many people
with having a bunch of them. You have the Surface and the Surface XL, but I completely agree. I think if you're going to make the Surface name upscale for the actual tablets, then I think people will identify that, and you get to sidestep some of this consumer, the general consumer awareness is, well, I don't think I would buy a Windows phone, and that's synonymous with Lumia.
Yeah.
You know, Lumia is basically the name in Windows Phone, so you get a fresh start. And people identify Surface with success. Yeah. People are looking at the Surface and thinking it's cool.
Sure. I think the problem will always been with Nokia, and I remember writing an article about this when they first started to come out here with Windows Phone. They're going to have a tough road ahead in the U.S. because Nokia's name has always been synonymous with entry level here, especially in the United States, and that was going to be a hard thing to break that. I didn't think they were going to really be able to do. And unfortunately, they weren't really able to accomplish that. But they like I said, they need to come out with that type of phone, that branding, their names, and you know, and it's funny how where Surface even comes from, considering that was a completely different project. The Courier, the table. The Courier.
Oh, the Courier. Yeah, I remember
now because it is the Surface. Remember this all stemmed from the Courier. The Courier was originally where all this started. That device we were so mad did not exist finally came out what you see now and being the Surface. And
there was no email, you know that, right?
Yeah. There was no Gates nixed
Gates was like, how do you send email on this? They're like, well, you really don't. You just like
this can't have Outlook? Nope. Nope. It's no blessing. But I really think I like what they're saying. Services is where they need to go. I think it's another thing I've been preaching with them too. They need to really go on the lines of being the one service for all everything that you need, one operating system, everything that you have around there. Then it's going to allow people that have bought Surfaces right now, and you come out with that Surface phone. They might invest in that phone. And I was like, oh, this phone goes with my tablet or my computer here that I use all the time, and it's just an extension. What I have, I might use it as maybe just a work phone. Maybe that's just all maybe they use it for. Maybe it's like a phone they carry around. Maybe they use it as their main phone, but they'll see that and go, oh, let me grab that. Oh, I can still get my Android apps and other things on there too because it supports it now. Oh,
well, and then also, I mean, again, what we're talking about, associate your brand with what's successful.
Yeah.
Windows Phone has had a tragic history of not being able to really identify itself as the Xbox phone or being able to identify itself as the Office phone. You had these monster successes in the Microsoft ecosystem that Windows Phone didn't really get to brand identify with, and so it withered on the vine. And so now I think the perfect way when we're talking hardware is you associate it with success, and that also gives you the opportunity to go back and do something budget. Like, I would love to see, now that we have the Surface 3, going back and doing like a Lumia 2540, a budget tablet that has all of these great things. You know, maybe it's great for schools and has a great Bluetooth keyboard or a battery keyboard or something like that. But it comes in at a lower price point than the Surface 3 and gives you another sort of benchmark for manufacturers to say, like, this is what we think an entry level Windows 10 tablet should look like. And you can use the Lumia brand, because the Lumia brand in the United States is associated with 540s and 640s.
Yeah, you made
budget.
Yeah, you made it that way. You know,
so ladies and gentlemen, Warren has spoken. Juan has added amendments to that, and it's quite simple. Microsoft, you've heard it first here again. If you want to succeed, Surface Phone, and Surface Phone XL.
Yeah.
Release that, and people will buy. If you want to expand your budget, make sure you have that entry Windows Lumia tablet, and just continue that line. And
but
2% cut.
But to wrap up on their whole services thing, the next thing I think they really need to focus on is taking their entertainment services and trying to brand that as well too, not so associated with the Xbox brand because it's never been really successful with them associating that with the Xbox brand, but really finding a way to get their music and movies and all those things that they want to push out there, make those services as well too, so those get up on every single device that's out there.
So now the question I want to ask there quickly is this: Sony has its own TV service, right? Microsoft doesn't. No. You can say who cares, but it's still an avenue for people, especially who are trying to court the cord. But when people are trying to court the cord left and right, Microsoft is just passed through. Is that something Microsoft should also try and invest in, or look for a partner to invest in with?
I think
rather than leaving it.
No, because I think their whole thing is we don't care, just put an app on it. It's fine. Mm-hmm. It's fine. I think them just going on, hey, you can put an app on our device. If Comcast, you want to put an app on our device so you can run Xfinity TV through it, fine. We don't care. We just want everybody to have our box to have everything on it. So I think them going that TV route outside of them just getting HD antenna set up. I think that's the furthest they should really go with that. I don't think they should really go into the deal of outside of them creating a Windows music streaming service, a Windows video streaming service, and those things. Bringing those things back, I think they should do, because I think they should offer something base for customers that like to stay within their ecosystem. Mm-hmm. But similar to how Google has a bunch of services they offer, but they do offer their own versions of those services as well too, for people that want to stay within the pure Google ecosystem. So I think they should offer those things as well too. But going into let's offer a TV service, I don't think that's a thing that they should be doing. Considering that Sony could kind of do that because they actually create a lot of these TV shows too.
Yeah, they do have a media wing.
They have a media wing, and they're so integrated into that. Everybody uses their stuff, their equipment, everything is Sony, so it's a little bit of a different avenue for them, I think.
Okay.
Well, and also I think Microsoft is in a position right now where if they tried to do it or go it alone, that they would ostracize partners, and that's something that they're building up momentum right now. I think that would be a bad play because
I was just saying that even including a partner too, and say, hey.
No. But I mean, like if you exalt one of your partners over the others, have fewer people trying to make the service. If you go it alone, you ostracize all of your potential partners right now. I think right now the slow playing it like this, like when it comes to media, is probably a better play until they have the clout and the entrenched user base where they can make a more unilateral move like that.
Okay.
I think they're also running into issues. I think that's something that Sony is running into issues with as well, right? Sling TV is gaining in popularity, but it's still not on the PlayStation. Why? Because PlayStation is trying to push View. You're going to be stuck in a situation where you're actively
on Xbox One.
Yeah.
So you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're trying to push just your unpopular TV offering when you can actually just co-opt someone else's and just get the eyeballs using your device.
True. JB Blaze says, what are you guys' thoughts on Windows 10 operating system? Just quickly before we go into entertainment.
I've been digging it. I just got the new fast release on my Lumia 1020, so I'm going to be playing with that today. And I've been digging what I've been seeing on playing with Windows 10 on my laptop. It's solid. I'm going to be really looking forward to the official release.
Warren?
I am excited. I'm already sold on it, so I'm just waiting for the final release to come out so I can upgrade and really start to dig in with Windows 10. So it's going to be a good operating system. It's Windows 8 with extras in it that everyone wanted because they complained about it last time. So that's what we're getting with it, and I'm excited to see it there. I think it's going to be. I think for Windows 8 users, it's not going to be that gradual, a big of a change for us. It's going to be like business as usual. But I think for a lot of Vista, XP, and 7 users, this is going to be the upgrade they're looking for.
Yeah. Sam?
It's a winner. I think it is a winner. I think I'm with everyone else. It's an amazing operating system. You're still going to get the same crap when it gets released. People basically downplaying the importance of Windows 10. The truth of the matter is this is probably going to be the most impactful operating system that Microsoft has dropped since Windows XP. No, XP.
XP, right, yeah. As for me, I'm running on 2 machines for PC. I haven't done the fast release. I'm actually looking now to actually do the update on my 820 for Windows Phone. But just to make a clarification, Microsoft clarified that on preview users on how you might get Windows 10. Basically, you will get Windows 10, it'll be activated, but for you to continue using it, you still have to be on the preview program because they will be releasing more previews down the line. So if you have Windows XP, Vista, and you want to get Windows 10, that's one way to do it. If you also have a bootleg copy of Windows 8, that's the only way you can do it too. So just to let you guys know. Moving on to entertainment, some interesting stuff. First off with Suicide Squad. Jared Leto went full method, or at least method gifting, with his portrayal of the Joker. So I guess he was either on tour or somewhere else, and he sent gifts to his fellow cast members. He sent Margot Robbie a letter and a parcel with a live rat. He sent Will Smith some bullets and a letter. He sent the whole cast a dead hog. I'm not sure if this thing was grilled or roasted or it was just a dead hog. Didn't necessarily explain. But he sent a video and he was in character the whole time. And one of the actors was pretty outstanding. He said he didn't expect him to continue this way. Also, I think Eastwood's son, I can't remember his name, Scott Eastwood, said he's never seen him on set out of character or even off set out of character. He's always the Joker 24/7. My only thing here is that he doesn't, kill himself in the process, because we all know how.
Yeah, I work with actors. I don't necessarily love people that go full method.
Full method.
Full method.
It's not. I mean, that's sort of a bastardization of method acting, and it's not the easiest to work with, especially when the character is as flamboyant as the Joker should be.
So he allowed himself to get hit.
I think that's something that Christian Bale does. Doesn't he do that?
Yeah. He's like that.
I think Christian Bale's just super intense. I don't think he's one is the guy that I kind of think of is like he will embody the character until the DVD commentary is out. Is what's his name from There Will Be Blood?
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
He's notorious for he's got to spend months before the movie shoots getting into character, and then he stays in character the entire time.
Well, I know Christian Bale. At least I wouldn't say he's that method, but he is really intense and method, because I did some stuff here in Boston where he was playing Marky Mark's brother in the boxing movie. I can't remember the name.
Oh yeah.
And we weren't shooting. No, we weren't shooting or anything. He was walking around on set like his brother, slightly crazy, the whole time.
So I mean, things like that is you're sort of kind of keeping the vibe, but it's I like, for me, it's Christian Bale's shtick is he really likes to alter his body.
Yeah.
So he commits to a role in a very intense way, but I mean, we've seen plenty of times where Christian Bale during production has broken character. I mean, it's not like he's got to exist and fully embody this in total 100% of the time.
Now we got plenty of audio on that. I wonder what happened to that grip guy.
And I mean, like the shitty thing about that is, I mean, like it makes Christian Bale look bad, but I think it's even worse that the team running that set let anything leak. So I mean, already that's worse. And I've been on sets. I've worked as a sound guy. I've worked as an assistant DP. I've worked as scripty, even, just like someone said the wrong line. You work really hard to make sure that stuff runs smoothly, and to have a miscommunication on set like that, where you got a grip moving lights around, is stupid unprofessional. So I can't really blame Christian Bale for doing stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. It's not something that media made it look like he's just this batshit crazy dude that it's yelling. There are many things that happen on set.
Yeah, listen to the damn thing. He did go batshit crazy. He had no reason to yell at any human being like that.
But it's also tied up into the part that they were shooting one of the most intense moments of the movie, and they have to keep reshooting it at expense to the whole rest of the production because someone's moving lights around. So you're already keyed up, because as an actor, you've got to be able to embody the emotion of what's happening. And Christian Bale always works as a producer on his films. He's also and this is costing
me money.
I understand. I hopefully apologized to that guy at some point. Took him to the side and said something.
Maybe.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, maybe. No, dude. It sounds like that until when you start watching it. I mean, I give my experience here on a movie set. I was on Shutter Island. We were shooting for about 15 hours. It was early in the morning. It was about 4 o'clock. We had a scene where we were all supposed to be sleeping. Leonardo DiCaprio and Michelle Williams are doing their thing. And then camera roll in action, I start sleeping, literally, and start snoring very loud. and Scorsese is shooting, and they cut, and they wake me up, and they still shoot the scene. But I mean, he gave me the look of death.
Right. That you had to reshoot for.
Yeah, exactly. It's reshoot at 4 o'clock in the morning, and this dude is snoring up a storm. Everyone was laughing. Scorsese has a different sense of humor, but even he was pissed. Was like, I will kill this motherfucker. Seriously, like, you know.
Well, and it's also it's always a happy set that I can leave where, you know, like if I'm working sound, it's always a happy set if I can leave, and never once throughout the entire course of the production did I ever have to say hold for sound.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big deal for me. Like, that's a really big deal for me to say, you know, like, because camera moves and lighting moves take a fucking long time. When you change the angle on a camera, and then you've got a team of people that fly in and start moving lights around and stuff, and then you've also got to kind of keep your actors somewhat present and somewhat capable of doing their job. I mean, it makes a lot of sense why one misstep like that could piss off the whole set. You know, like, maybe not even just Christian Bale being pissed off, but like everyone else too, like not stepping in to stop this altercation because maybe they're all pissed off too. This took us for fucking ever to get here, and now you are interrupting this, and now we're gonna have to do it all over again. We wanted to move a light.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's never
more complicated than
just
what we heard.
as it is. Another news. Let me just share this image here. Our boy Tyrese Gibson has been going on this little mini campaign. So rumor is that with the Justice League, WB is actually going to have 2 Green Lanterns running this universe. And, you know, taking cues from Guardians of the Galaxy, they realized that, look, we can make this alternating movies because it's Green Lantern. There's so many of them. It really doesn't matter. So Tyrese says that because fans have been making all these different, you know, man-ups of him, and what's his name again? Captain Kirk, the actor.
William Shatner?
No, Chris Pine.
Oh, Chris Pine.
Chris Pine. That, you know, he's gone over. He's talked to. It's like with William Shatner. He's talked to WB, and who knows what's happening. But thoughts on Tyrese as Jon Stewart, because it looks like it's going to be Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart together.
He wouldn't have been my first pick. I want someone with like a different quality of authority. I mean, you know, like we've talked about Idris Elba. I think he's got the right demeanor.
Yeah, I think he's too old for it. He's too old for it.
But I mean, that's what I mean. Is someone like that. You want someone with that kind of demeanor, you know. And I think I mean, like, I really enjoy Tyrese's work, but I kind of look at him as being a little looser than that. I mean, I don't know.
Boy. He's still baby boy.
See, I
don't want to
be.
Yeah.
I thought the same way. And then I remembered Annapolis, and I was like, you know, if he draws from that, yeah, I can see him.
Yeah,
I can see him as that. Yeah, because a lot of people said the same thing and mentioned all of the movies. And I remember in Annapolis, I was like, yeah, he was kind of like, I would peg him as a younger Jon Stewart. Yeah, very stuck up. Because Jon Stewart is a very stuck-up character. As a Green Lantern, I don't like him personally.
What are you talking about? What?
I don't. I like Kyle Rayner. I'm sorry. I like the artist.
Kyle Rayner, I like. Everyone likes Kyle Rayner, but Jon Stewart to me is probably second to the original Hal Jordan. He's the most conflicted Green Lantern that's out there because he's done some pretty bad stuff in order to get good stuff to happen.
All of them have done some pretty bad stuff.
No, his was terrible. Okay, his was pretty bad. But no, I don't see Tyrese as that character. I don't think Tyrese can bring that. At least from what I've seen, from all the movies I've seen Tyrese in, I don't think he can bring that level of, you know, just almost presence. I guess that's the best way to put it. I don't think he has that kind of.
See, I personally never saw Jon Stewart as having presence. I saw him as being stuck up. I mean, that's just me personally. Hal Jordan is someone who I thought had more presence because the way I look at it is Hal Jordan does not fear Batman. Jon Stewart still gives him some respect. You know, you have to me, that's the way I look at his character. So for me, Jon Stewart is, you know, he's cool, but that's just me personally. I don't know. But
what about someone like a Derek Luke? He's on Empire right now. You
mean Derek Luke from good. What's his name?
Buying some Sony equipment there?
Derek Luke.
Antoine Fisher.
Yeah, Antoine Fisher. You know,
Biker Boys.
Possibly. I mean,
because but again, like in everything that we've seen, he just someone who stands like with a kind of a more militaristic stance, and I kind of buy that more from a guy like Derek Luke. And then also, while he's a very accomplished actor and he's got a string of really great credits, I don't know that he's got the name recognition that would eclipse the character. You know, especially once we start like kind of incorporating more mixed audiences and white audiences and stuff like that.
Derek Luke might be a little too old for it though, too.
You think so?
He's 41, but he doesn't look 41. So
some of these photos, he doesn't look the greatest. It doesn't look the youngest.
But I think
he just got the old man low fro going.
Yeah, he just needs to cut that off. That's all. remember, he's gonna.
I can't comment on that. I'm gonna bow out.
On John, because of Jon Stewart, he's gonna go bald anyway for that. Yeah. Yeah, like he's got the old man low pro. Yeah. But what's the other question I was gonna say? What do you think about them having 2 Green Lanterns?
Oh yeah, I like. But no, I like reinforcing the fact that Green Lantern is not a singular
individual.
I think
that might confuse the audience, though.
No.
I think it's that you focus on the one Green Lantern who's here on Earth, and then you also have the name recognition of like I think it should be Jon Stewart here on Earth, and then you have Hal Jordan
in sector whatever in space.
Exactly, yeah. So that you reinforce the fact that the Green Lantern is a corps, is a police force.
Yeah.
But that you don't have both Green Lanterns here.
From what I've heard is that the Justice League, it's Jon Stewart for the first Justice League movie, and the villain is still kind of Earth-based, and basically Hal Jordan comes and warns them about Darkseid for the second one. It's like,
that would be cool.
Like somebody else here is like, and they're like, where were you this whole time? It's like, I was busy in this other space is big. It's really big.
That's a Hitchhiker's Guide quote. Just right there.
So I mean, if they do it like that, I agree with you. It's something that would be very interesting to say. Okay, all right, because from what the comments were saying was basically that they are looking at interchanging the movies. So it could be any you could do either combine in one movie with Jon Stewart, one movie with Hal Jordan. You can mix it up. You can mix them up in different other. Superheroes.
If they're gonna do a Green Lantern movie, they'd have to include them all and then introduce the entire universe, which is all.
Yeah. I mean, you could do that, but even because what they were saying is that WB also realized that even in the comics, whenever Green Lanterns face big threats, they always call backup.
Yeah.
There's always backup. Like,
what happened to Guy Gardner?
He's also in the mix.
Okay, just making sure because I want to see that '80s look.
He's also in the mix. He might be referenced. There's word that he might be referenced in Man of Steel. Not necessarily shown, just reference as in, that kind of thing. But he's in the mix and he's actually in the world, but they're just going to use the 2 most popular ones.
I mean, there might be a point to even just create a Lantern movie that explains the whole Lantern universe, because it's such a major part of DC it's bigger than what goes on with Batman and Superman if you think about it in a certain context. But it's nowhere near as popular or as well known. Nobody knows the whole emotional spectrum and all this other stuff.
Well, and they kind of tried to tackle that scope in the Green Lantern movie, but we're just scrapping all of that and coming back fresh.
Exactly. No, I agree with you. I like the approach of one Green Lantern, the other one comes is like, yo, bro, I'm sorry, man, I'm bringing bad guys with me, but like I need your help, and these other guys you're hanging out with, that kind of thing. So I mean, it'd be interesting to see, but that is pretty much it on entertainment and the weekly for this week. Anything else before we wrap up?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah. JB Blaze says, not sure if you guys answer. I'm gonna go. Thanks for the stream. Really enjoy this. Keep it up.
Thanks for joining us, JBJ Blaze, and sign TFA ! Exclamation point!
Yes. Well, thanks for joining us. So anyway, that's it for this week on the show. What can we expect from you guys next week? Start up with you, Juan. Actually, no, Warren. Quickly, what can we expect?
Things and stuff. I'm doing a lot of editing right now, and learning a new editor at the same time. So things have just been kind of slow and painful, but it's gonna come soon.
Okay. Juan?
Wrapping up a bunch of videos, shot a ton of stuff with Kumbla Cam, so I've got like proper review, not just like, let me show you this stabilizer in my office and it kind of moves around and it looks cool. I mean, I've got some really cool footage from around Los Angeles, and got it caught on my mic cable in the Museum of Natural History and hiking the mountains and stuff, so it should be really cool. And then I'm going to be spending some time with my new Pebble Time, so going to be talking about some more smartwatch stuff coming up. I'm really stoked about this one. I'm already super excited just because it follows in the tradition of my beloved Qualcomm Talk, with having one of the best outdoor viewable displays I think I've ever seen. I kind of want a phone to be made out of a display like this, just so you can see what's on your device in direct sunlight. So I've got a couple other things coming up after that too, but those are the biggies that I'll be focusing on.
All right, cool. Sam?
Everything I promised before.
Yeah.
But this time he means it.
This time it's real.
Yeah.
Only this time it's personal.
My end, this guy, Watch O'Bain from LG. I was gonna do some Batman stuff on PC, but the game has been pulled, so.
And rightfully so.
I have to wait. I was gonna do some 4K videos, so, and I believe some more Apple Watch stuff. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because you're loving it, right? You know, like you already love smartwatches so much that the Apple Watch has got to be right up your alley. It's got to be like the best thing ever, right?
It's magical.
Yeah,
like they totally reinvented the smartwatch, just like they reinvented the laptop.
Everyone was gonna go for circle, and then Apple was like, "Oh my God, the square is where it's at." Everyone's gonna go for squares again.
Hey, squares. It's okay. You don't have to knock like geometry just because you're not a huge fan of Apple gear.
my Apple Watch reviews of y'all can check it out if you want to.
He's not even trying to sell. It's there. I don't. You could, maybe.
Yeah, but the one thing I will.
If you have the time and you're not busy.
The one thing I will do is I'm getting some Apple Watch straps, some third-party ones which are cheaper and they actually look pretty nice. That's one thing I do like about the watch. Changing straps is very easy, so I will showcase that.
Do any of the straps that are coming your way do they allow you to use traditional 22mm bands, or are they all like just the same kind of Apple plug?
Yeah, there's no way you can use that. It's an Apple plug because you press the button and it slides out and you slide it back in.
Because I've been hoping that someone would make a plug that just has arms on it for the 22mm strap, so then you could just use any regular watch and you just plug that in and you have two little arms that stick out. I think that would be a really cool way to kind of expand on the Apple Watch, because I just did that review. I did do the review on there's a little company up in Canada that makes these gorgeous hand stitched leather watch bands, and they're like $40. They're really nice, high-quality bands, and so I've got them on all of my various smartwatches now. But I had to get a little jeweler tool to put a pin in.
Yeah.
But for $40, as compared to an Apple Watch $150 leather band.
Yeah, 150 all the way to $249.
I mean,
you could buy a 54 for that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, but I mean, like, you could go to Strapsmith and get a $200 watch strap made out of like an exotic rare species of alligator. Like, what is it that I'm really getting for $200 here on an Apple Watch strap?
Yeah, I mean the banding, taking off the band and replacing it is easy. That's one thing I will give them. But this third-party company, they start at 40 and they go to 100. They have a few metal ones that are like $100 or something like that. So I'm doing that, and then I just forgot the last thing I was going to do.
It's okay.
I can't remember. All right.
More stuff.
Yeah. That's
scene.
One more question from JB Blaze, because he came back. He says, actually, maybe if it fits, thoughts on YouTube gaming?
I think they've got a lot of issues that YouTube needs to work out with their relationships with content producers, especially in how they go after copyright on things like music. If you're going to be putting up a game streaming service, you need to be more accepting of what people are actually streaming on that, and they better have some really good relationships worked out with the RIAA for not just having all of our videos muted or taken down entirely or wrecking ad share revenue on that if people are going to embrace it as a service.
And I think they need to change your attitude, especially when it comes to complaints and takedowns. When it comes to a gaming video, you cannot just automatically take down something.
You're guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah, you can't do that for gaming.
Dispute system.
Of course, this is the Kardashian Empire.
Oh my god.
You're such a deep Space Nine nerd now. I fucking love it.
I'm gonna reference it. Oh my god.
Oh, that was beautiful.
I was like, really?
No,
you just referenced the Kardashian Empire?
Don't blame me. This is all your fault. All of you right there.
No,
all of you.
we're owning this and we're loving this.
Bravo.
Welcome to the club.
Bravo. But seriously, they need to change that because gaming videos people are always going to gaming videos is not someone's content. What's really the person's content is either the voiceover or the style they're playing. You can't really just say, oh my God, Idol said that we have to take this game down because they created this game and you're just playing it. But it's going to be one of those things that they definitely need to change how they approach the complaints and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so that is it, guys. Definitely check out all the channels. Check out Mr. Warren Bowman at BWone.com. Website. Also check him out on YouTube. It's BWone. That's the handle there. On Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Periscope.
All kinds of social networks.
Yeah, if it's social, he's there.
All kinds.
All kinds. And next up, check out Mr. Juan Bagnell at Somegadgetguy.com. Check him out on YouTube. It is Juan Bagnell or Somegadgetguy. You will find him there. Also, you find him on Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, Facelift.
Facelift? Wow.
I mean, I have been thinking about getting some work done, but damn, man, call me out.
That is the LA specific
Facebook. It's all Some Gadget Guy of Juan Bagnell. And Mr. Black Iron _man, aka Sam, you can find him on Booredatwork, and that is his Twitter handle, Black Iron _man. Myself, same here, Booredatwork all the way on Instagram, all social media networks. And on that note, I want to say thank you very much, and always enjoy your entertainment.
Bam.